Hey there, lovelies. You know, as a girl who always follows her heart and does what she loves, there are bound to be some things I enjoy that other people might find a little strange. But, you know what? I don't care. Life is too short to worry about what other people think. Anyway, one thing that I absolutely adore that other people might find weird is collecting cute little plushies of animals. I mean, who doesn't love cuddly, fluffy creatures? But for some reason, when I tell my friends about my collection, they look at me like I'm crazy. They'll say things like, "Nico, why do you need so many stuffed animals? You're not a little kid anymore." But I just can't help it. There's something about plushies that just makes me feel happy and comfortable. Whenever I'm feeling down or stressed, I can just hug one of my little animal friends and everything starts to feel better. Plus, they're all so cute and colorful. They brighten up any room. I've been collecting plushies for as long as I can remember. When I was a little girl, my parents would take me to the toy store and let me pick out one plushie as a treat. But as I grew older, I realized that I could buy as many plushies as I wanted, or as many as my bank account would allow. Anyway, my collection has grown pretty big over the years. I have stuffed animals of all shapes and sizes, from little bunnies to giant teddy bears. I even have some rare ones that I had to hunt down on online auction sites. Whenever I get a new one, I feel like I've made a new friend. I know that some people might think it's childish to collect stuffed animals at my age, but I don't see it that way. To me, they're not just toys. They're a part of who I am. And you know what? I bet there are other people out there who collect plushies too. Maybe we could start a club or something. In the end, I think it's important to do what makes you happy, no matter what other people might think. Life is full of weird and wonderful things. And if we all spent our time worrying about what society considers normal, we'd be missing out on so much. So, if you see me carrying around a giant pink bunny at the next school assembly, don't judge me. Just know that I'm happy. And that's all that matters. Until next time, lovelies, keep being your amazing, one-of-a-kind selves. Well, my dear friends, have you ever thought about what modern society takes for granted? I know I have. It's not like I'm saying that we should be living in the Stone Age or anything. I love my smartphone as much as the next person. But sometimes, we can forget just how good we have it. Let me tell you a story. One that I think will really illustrate what I'm talking about. The other day, I was waiting for my train at the station, and I saw this older gentleman with a big smile on his face. He was holding a piece of paper, and it took me a moment to realize that he was looking at the train timetable. You see, back in his day, the trains didn't run as regularly as they do now. If you missed your train, you might be waiting for hours for the next one. But now, we can look up the train schedule instantly on our phones, and we don't even think twice about it. Another example that comes to mind is healthcare. We're so lucky to live in a time where we have access to modern medicine and treatments. But it wasn't always like that. Just a few decades ago, people were dying of diseases that are now completely curable. Imagine not having antibiotics or vaccines. And how about education? We can take online courses, access a world of knowledge with just a few clicks, and even earn degrees without ever leaving our homes. But a few centuries ago, only the elite had access to education. And even then, it was limited to a small number of subjects. I know I'm getting a little bit philosophical here, but I really think it's important to remember how far we've come. It's so easy to get caught up in our daily lives and take things for granted. But if we stop and think about all the things we have access to, all the opportunities that are available to us, it's truly astounding. So, my friends, let's remember to appreciate what we have, and not to take it for granted. Whether it's something as simple as being able to easily find out when our train is arriving, or something as significant as having access to life-saving medical treatments. Let's be grateful for all of it. And let's also remember that there's still so much work to be done in creating a world where everyone has equal access to these benefits. Thanks for listening, my dear friends. Until next time, Nico out. Hey there, my fellow love livers. Nico ni. So, the question that has been asked is, how dirty is my mind on a scale of 1 to 100? I'll be honest, it's been kind of hard to quantify that. My mind can be pretty imaginative and sometimes can wander off to unexpected places. But I think when it comes down to it, it's not that dirty at all. Firstly, being an idol is all about positive energy. And that means keeping everything clean and wholesome. You can't spread happiness and cheer if you're dwelling on things that aren't bright and cute. So, I always try to focus on the good things in life, like sunshine, singing, and dancing. Additionally, I love my friends and fans so much that I would never want to say or do anything that would offend them. That's why I always strive to be the best role model I can be. After all, I want to be someone that little kids can look up to and be inspired by. However, I'm not perfect, and sometimes those unexpected thoughts can pop up in my mind. But, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's natural to have thoughts and feelings that may not always be entirely pure. We're all human, after all, but the important thing is knowing how to deal with those thoughts and feelings. When I have an impure thought, I try to redirect my focus back to something positive. For example, I might think about how I can make a cute new costume for our next concert or write some new lyrics to a song. Overall, I'd say that my mind is probably at a 15 on the scale of 1 to 100 when it comes to dirtiness. I like to keep things positive and fun, but sometimes my imagination can surprise even me. However, I always know how to bring my focus back to what's really important, spreading joy through music and dancing. So, my fellow love livers, don't be afraid to let your mind wander a little bit. Just make sure to always bring it back to where it needs to be. And remember, positivity always wins in the end. Nico ni. Hey there guys, Nico Yazawa here. Now, before we get into all of this, let me just say that I do not condone scamming, fraud, or any sort of activity that could hurt others or their livelihood in any way. That being said, I think it's important to understand why some people may decide to pursue these kinds of acts and what motivates them. It all starts with a desire for more money, more power, more status. For some, those desires are simply too strong to ignore, and they begin to seek out ways to fulfill those desires. For me, it was the desire for fame and recognition that started me down this path. I wanted to be someone, to be known and adored by millions, and I was willing to do whatever it took to make that happen. So, I started small, little things here and there, nothing too serious, but as I got better and more confident, I started to take bigger risks. I would target people who were vulnerable, who were already struggling, and promised them quick and easy solutions to their problems, and it worked. People bought into it, and I started making more and more money. At first, I tried to justify it to myself by saying that I was just doing what everyone else was doing, that everyone was out for themselves, and that I was just playing the game better than anyone else. But deep down, I knew that wasn't true. I knew that what I was doing wasn't right. But the money kept coming, and the attention kept growing. People started to know my name, to recognize me wherever I went. And that's when things started to get really dangerous. I started to believe my own hype. I started to think that I was invincible, untouchable, and that's when I got caught. I'll spare you the details, but let's just say that it wasn't pretty. I lost everything. My money, my fame, my freedom. It was over. Looking back on it all now, I realized just how foolish and short-sighted I was. I let my desires and my ego blind me to the consequences of my actions. And I hurt a lot of people along the way. So, to answer the question of how I justified it to myself and others, I didn't. Not really. I just got swept up in the moment, in the greed and the excitement. And before I knew it, it was too late. I hope that anyone who may be considering going down a similar path will take my story as a cautionary tale. It's not worth it. Trust me. The consequences are just too high. Instead, focus on building a life that is honest and fulfilling. A life that you can be proud of. Oh, darling, let me tell you about the music artists that I simply cannot stand. Their music grates on my nerves. Makes me want to pull my hair out and scream at the top of my lungs. It's just so bland. I won't name names, of course, but this particular artist seems to get all the attention and accolades while there are so many other more deserving musicians out there who don't get nearly enough recognition. It's just not fair, you know? But it's not just the lack of talent that bothers me. It's the fact that they seem to take themselves way too seriously. It's like they think they're the be-all and end-all of the music industry. But really they're just a flash in the pan. And don't even get me started on their attitude. They act like they're above everyone else. Like there's some kind of musical messiah here to save us all from ourselves. Please, give me a break. What really irks me is the fact that so many people seem to love this particular artist. I just don't get it. Are people really that easily swayed by mass media and marketing campaigns? Can't they see through the smoke and mirrors to the real talent that's out there? But who am I to judge? Right? Everyone has their own tastes and preferences when it comes to music. I just happen to think that this particular artist isn't all they're cracked up to be. I've tried to listen to their music. I really have. But it just doesn't do anything for me. It's like listening to elevator music. You know? It's there. It's inoffensive. But it's not going to change your life or move you in any way. I know some people might think I'm just being a hater. But I promise you, that's not the case. I genuinely believe that there are so many other musicians out there who deserve far more attention and recognition than this one particular artist. So, there you have it. My honest opinion on the music artist that I cannot stand. I'm sure there will be some who disagree with me. And that's okay. Ultimately, we all have our own tastes and preferences. And that's what makes the world such a wonderfully diverse place. Family gatherings. You either love them or you hate them. For me, it's a bit of both. As an idol in training, I've got a lot on my plate: singing, dancing, practicing, performing, you name it. I've got to do it. So when family gatherings roll around, it can feel like just another thing to add to my already packed schedule. But at the same time, I can't deny that I love spending time with my family. We're all so different. My little sister Kokoro is a total sweetheart. My older sister Tsubasa is a bit of a bossy boots. And my parents are always busy with work, but somehow, we all come together and make it work. One of my favorite things about family gatherings is the food. Oh my goodness. My mom is an amazing cook. She makes the most delicious dishes, from sushi rolls to hot pots to mochi ice cream. Whenever we're all gathered around the table, I feel like I'm in heaven. There's just something about sharing a meal with the people you love that makes everything feel better. Of course, there are a few downsides to family gatherings too. For one thing, there's always that one relative who asks all the annoying questions. When are you going to get married? Nico-chan? Why haven't you debuted as an idol yet? Did you gain some weight? It's like they're trying to make me feel bad. And then there's the inevitable gossip. I don't know how it happens, but somehow my family always manages to get into the most ridiculous discussions. Like, last time we had a gathering, my aunt and uncle were arguing about whether cats or dogs are better pets. And my grandpa was telling some story about when he was a young man and got in a fight with a gang of hooligans. I mean, come on. But even with all those annoyances, I still think family gatherings are worth it. Because at the end of the day, family is everything. They're the people who will support you no matter what, who will be there when you're feeling low, and who will always have your back. So yeah, maybe I grumble a bit when I hear there's a family gathering coming up. But deep down I know I'm excited to see everyone again. And hey, maybe next time I'll even wear my best idol outfit to show off a bit. Video games. They have the ability to take us to worlds beyond our imagination and make us feel like we're a part of their story. But have I ever cried during a video game? The answer is yes, I have. And let me tell you, the experience was nothing short of emotional. The game that brought me to tears was called Life is Strange. Now, let me give you some context. The game is about this girl named Max who has the ability to rewind time. She uses this power to uncover dark secrets and ultimately save the town of Arcadia Bay from destruction. Sounds like your everyday sci-fi adventure, right? Wrong. As I played through the game and got to know the characters, I found myself attached to them. There was Chloe, Max's best friend who went through a traumatic event and needed Max's support. There was Kate, a sweet and innocent girl who was bullied by her classmates. And then there was Rachel, the girl everyone loved and admired. Each of them had their own struggles. And as I made choices in the game, I felt like I was impacting their lives in a real way. But the moment that really got me was towards the end of the game. I won't spoil it for you, but let's just say that a certain character's fate left me devastated. I had grown to care about this character so much, and to see them go through what they did was heart-wrenching. As the credits rolled and the music played, tears streamed down my face. I felt like I had been on this journey with these characters, and now it was all over. I couldn't shake the feeling of loss and regret, knowing that there were things I could have done differently. That's the thing about Life is Strange, it makes you feel like your choices matter. And when those choices lead to negative consequences, it hits you hard. Looking back, I realized that my emotional reaction wasn't just about the game itself. It was about the themes it tackled: friendship, loss, regret, and how they resonated with me on a personal level. I've gone through my own share of struggles and challenges, and seeing these characters face theirs brought up a lot of emotions for me. In the end, that's what makes video games so special. They have the power to make us feel things we didn't know we could feel. They can transport us to different worlds and give us a glimpse into the human experience. And while my tears may seem silly to some, to me, they were a testament to the impact that Life is Strange had on me.